Alright, some support in set 11 for deck style play, so let's begin. So let's start off with the Wirbel stuff with Drag Ritter Daria. Grade 1 8 key power and the skill is Count Rearguard Guardian. If your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Wirbel, plus 5 key power and 5 key shield active on your opponent's turn as well. Once again, another ride line with this extra 5 key power and 5 key shield that you don't need. Next, Drag Ritter Harris, which is grade 2 with 10 key power and the skill is Auto Rearguard. When this card attacks, if you energy blasted 3 for a cost of your Vanguard this turn, by your at least grade 3 Vanguard's ability, this card gets plus 5 key power into the end of the battle. Then, if your opponent's rearguard was retired this turn, cost Soul Blast 1. If your opponent must guard this attack, they must use at least 2 cards at the same time. So just in case of restanding rearguards, it is nice that this is not once per turn. And another thing that is nice, that it's not locked with Wirbel, which is already very decent for the deck. But if there's any other decks that energy blasts 3 for your Vanguard and also can retire, this can definitely be a good option. And finally, to the last Wirbel card, Drag Ritter Sadiq, which is grade 2 with 10 power and the skill is Auto. When placed from rearguard from hand, reveal at least grade 3 Wirbel from your right deck, and if either that or your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Wirbel, cost Counterblast 1, look at top 5 cards of your deck for 1 unit card to call if it's grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and then of course shuffle your deck, and if your one's Vanguard is at least grade 3 plus 5 key power. This is just so good for some consistency boost because it's better than just random draw power, and superior calling from deck is way better. As Wirbel does have access to a lot of generics, especially the grade 3 Searcher, but once again, giving any deck an access to superior call from even top 5 is just pretty nice. But the second skill makes this even better because that's the reason why you really want to run this card. Auto Rearguard at the end of your turn. If you energy blasted a total of 6 for your Vanguard's act ability this turn, that is Wirbel, you may retire this unit, and if you did, either energy charge 3 or choose a card from your soul to the drop zone, which could even be the Soul Blasted Wirbel for the next turn to re-Soul Blast again for your extra drive check. It's just too bad this skill has to be at the end of the turn, because that would mean that you still need to wait at least 1 extra grade 3 turn just to get that extra drive check. But getting that extra 3 energy is also not bad, as each 3 energy means 1 retire, and having an extra 3 of course gives you 1 extra retire or extra boost, which that extra energy charge will more likely happen during your first grade 3 ride anyway. But overall, good new addition for Wirbel just for being able to plus and also recycle those Wirbels. The only thing is, Counterblast is still heavy for Dragon Empire. And now to the Loner Artisaria card, Stylish Looper Crucial, which is a grade 1 with key power and the skill is Auto. When placed on rearguard from hand, choose at least a grade 3 Artisaria from your right deck, and either that or your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Artisaria. Cost Counterblast 1 to draw. I kinda get why it has to be archetype block, otherwise it could be played for any lyrical deck. Just feels kinda strange to reveal your archetype grade 3 just for the draw. But the second skill is why you really run this, and spoiler, it's gonna be a 15k booster. Because Auto, when boosting while you have a sound system in the order zone, this unit gets plus 5 key power in the battle. Then if it was boosting the Artisaria, plus additional 2k into the end of battle, and then cost Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rearguards to get this skill in the end turn. When retired from rearguard, return it back to the hand. The idea here is that when this card boosts your grade 3 Artisaria on attack, you choose one of your rearguards first, and then you use your Artisaria skill to call the Shadow Army token. And anything you call on top of that one rearguard will be bounced to the hand right after, which is overall pretty decent, especially for the extra draw power. And while you can still run this, based on experience, I do sometimes get a full board of Shadow Army tokens just because of a grade 2, but still a decent addition. And now finally for the Zorga stuff, that doesn't even look like a Zorga card. Look out Hunter Vogular, which is a grade 1 with key power, and the skill is Auto Rearguard. When placed by the ability of your at least grade 3 Zorga, energy charge 1. While the deck technically does use a bit of energy, you realistically don't really need it, but it's there if you want to be more energy focused. And finally to our last card, Remain Smashing, which is grade 2 with 10 key power and the skill is Auto Hand Drop. If you're at least grade 3 Vanguard Zorga attacks that has a divine skill, and you do not have a copy of this on rearguard, cost Counterblast 1, retire one of your rearguards, and call this to rearguard. In addition, it also gets plus additional 5k power for every different name order card in your bind zone. Basically, you have multi-attack in Zorga Nadir, because this superior call happens in middle of the attack, which of course makes this really good to run, even though you could only call this once a turn, which I can kind of get why, because it could get a little OP, especially when a lot of Zorga stuff already gets power on their own, in addition to maybe even order cards giving you even more power. And on top of that, you can refill stuff that you want in your drop zone, aka the Prison Dragons. So already just with this skill alone, it's already good to run. But the next skill, auto rearguard, at the end of battle this unit attacked, cost counterblast 1, bind this unit, choose a order card that is not regalious piece that is bound, and return it back to your hand. Recycling your order cards is always pretty nice, although ideally you don't want to reuse the ones from the bind zone because you want to keep those bind zone ones for more power, but still overall pretty good just because you can recycle. Now it does suck that you do have to bind this rather than just retire itself, because retiring itself would have been much better just for the extra superior call mid-battle, but I do get why. And this is more here just for emergency purposes, since Zorga does have quite a good amount of ways to recycle order cards, especially that one grade 1. And so that's it for the new support for Wirbel, Artisaria, and Zorga Nadir. What do you guys think of it? Overall, since I play all 3 decks, it is actually just pretty nice support. Especially Wirbel, since that's actually a Deer Days character playing it, and I'm always afraid of that deck being thrown out, but it's just nice to see more support for it. Artisaria is just overall nice just for more options, and Zorga gaining an additional attacker is just pretty good. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.